Venezuela has been dealt with, but Somali scammers are the ones that should be next. We have sanctioned oil tankers fleeing Venezuela in dark mode. It's almost as if they are ghost ships. Illegal immigrants are caught hauling 300 pounds of the white powder in semi-trucks. And well, there is a lot more news to cover, folks. We're going to make sure that we're here with you throughout the entire hour, bringing you all the news you need to know about. Before we do that, though, if you could head over to baldbrad.com and check out all the goodies we have over there. We have books, we have content, we got blogs, meaning stories, headlines that we wrote ourselves. We got shirts, hoodies, we got everything. And it's only me running the show, so any help would be greatly appreciated. If you really want to go above and beyond, we do have a donation tab. Don't feel like you have to do that, but that is there for those that feel like they're getting some sort of value out of the show. Anything as small as $2, we get 97% of the proceeds, where YouTube, Rumble, well, those types of platforms will take anywhere from 30 to 35%, somewhere in that range, whereas my website will give us, again, 97%. Really appreciate everybody always joining us here on The Bald Brad Show. Just making sure some of the bells and whistles on my end are working correctly, since, like I said, we don't have a producer that does this for us in real time. It is me, Brad, that does everything here on the show. If you're new here, let us know in the chat. We got a lot of people. We get thousands of views every single day that tune into the show. It's not a brag. It's not a pat on the back. It's just to let you know that you're not here by yourself, that you are being heard by a lot of people, and they would love to give you a shout out because they are like-minded people. They're great people. And as I've always said, we have one of the best chats in all of social media. So we would love for you to be a part of that with us as well. All righty. Well, I am still under the weather. So forgive me. We're going to make our way through this. Trust me. I'm taking my time because I'm trying my best not to cough into the mic, which was a little bit of the reason why we started a tiny bit later today. So forgive me for that one. But we do have our first segment of the show, which is Venezuela has been dealt with. But what about the Somalis? And it kind of is a rough one because Nick Sorter went out and did all this investigative journalism. And, you know, I kind of use investigative loosely. It wasn't really him. It was the guy that he was with, where they went out and they caught all this Somali fraud. But the headline kind of got washed away because of what Donald Trump did with Venezuela and taking Nick Maduro to go and be prosecuted and dealt with over there in New York. Well, Venezuela has been dealt with, and Washington now needs to focus on being at home. And that's what we have here. So over the past few weeks, we've seen some kind of rare American politics, which is decisive actions been taking place. The United States removed Nicolas Maduro in a matter of hours, which, like I said, was awesome. You have the question of, well, what's the federal government going to do now? Are they going to continue to move fastly abroad, or are they going to be able to act here at home, which is kind of what we all want? I'm not upset about taking and cleaning up other people's messes. We got a big mess here in America, and we got to deal with that. So let's start with the basics here on the Minnesota fraud scandal. It's not a mystery. So what's happening in Minnesota, especially taxpayer-funded social service programs, obviously is not a rumor. It's not even a conspiracy. And it's not even a partisan invention, if that's what you call it. I've heard that word going around, which is kind of odd. Federal prosecutors had already proven hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud. Hundreds of millions already. It's so crazy to me because you'll have some of these lefties come out and say that, oh, well, this isn't really happening. This is all made up. He didn't really do investigative journalism. And what I'm talking about is Nick Shirley. Oh, he just went up to some daycares and, well, they weren't even open. What an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not exactly true. Because federal prosecutors, again, have proven hundreds hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud through programs like Feeding Our Future. And it gets even crazier because the person that was the head of Feeding Our Future scandal was also listed as a contact for like, I think it was like something crazy, 30, 50 of these daycares, the contact person for that. The lady that was the head of Feeding Our Future, that was hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud, was the contact for all these daycares. All of them. Nuts. The case alone, if you recall, this Feeding Our Future that we covered here, exposed fake meal counts, these shell nonprofits. You had these phony services happening and these money laundering schemes that were happening overseas. So it's not like this is unprecedented stuff that's going on in Minnesota. And that was just one program, by the way. Just Uno, hundreds of millions. State officials have since admitted the fraud is far more widespread and spanning. So you have daycare licensing, adult care programs, the autism treatment centers. Remember when we covered that one? And I said, man, isn't that crazy that not only do Democrats want to take the money out of your pockets, but when the money's drained from your pockets, who do they move to next? They move to the kids. And when the kids aren't enough, and now they drain the pockets of the kids, where they're not giving the kids the meals anymore, they're not giving the kids the education anymore, they're not even giving them the daycare anymore. Well, what do? Now they go after the autistic kids. Isn't that messed up? That's how sick these people are, dude. They will go after your money ad nauseum. That's why I always say these people are off their rockers. I mean, it's socialist. The only thing that a socialist or a Democrat's not going to take from you folks is your job, because they need to keep tapping the well. They went after housing stabilization services, home health care. It's nuts. Minnesota literally paused issuing new licenses because applications exploded far beyond any plausible population growth. They had more people coming into these things than, or even there. I mean, that's not systemic racism. They'll say it is. It's not. That's systemic. How can we even phrase that? That's a system being looted is what that is. Forgive me, I have to keep muting the mic so I'm not coughing in your ears. Now, the most damning part is nobody was trying to stop it. That's the crazy. It was so out there in the daylight. No pun intended for daycare meaning daylight. The most disturbing part is not even the fraud itself. I mean, look, we all know these immigrants, these third worlders, they come in, they type from our system, they commit massive amount of fraud. We all know that already. It's how easy it would be just to stop it. That should be really more of the conversation here. We're not talking about sophisticated cybercrime or like kind of what we saw in accounting where you had these like hidden financial instruments. We're talking about brick and mortar facilities billing millions of dollars, often with no clients present. Like there's no visible activity going on, and multiple clinics registered to the same address. I used to audit stuff like this. We would audit nonprofits. I didn't audit any daycares. It's all, I mean, see something, say something. Well, when you don't see something, you still say something. Like, hey, it's a little odd, buddy, that you're bringing in millions of dollars and, yeah, you got nothing going on here. I mean, these people have the balls. Did you all see this? Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. I don't know if you saw this. There was a post that went out. I haven't verified it, which is why I haven't shown you yet, of somebody asking for child actors. Look at this. Look at this post. Submitted Minneapolis Craigslist post in search for child actors for daycare site where funding was cruelly ripped away without cause. Oh. To help hurry this state vetting process, we are looking for 20 child actors for 3 days while state is present on site. What? I mean, it's a little odd. Now, could it just be some type of casting? Sure. Yeah, no, they're doing a sitcom, guys, a Somali sitcom. That's what they're doing. Yeah. Hi, all. My family runs daycare here in the city, and we have for over 5 years until Monday, when funding was cruelly ripped away without cause due to this insane poor decision. Oh, it's clear in white supremacy. Gotcha. The whites. It's always the whites. We had to close our doors immediately. We must prove we are a function daycare to get funding back. The issue is the entire client base had already found new daycare service. Oh, just everybody found new daycare services that quickly. So we need to find new client base quickly. To help hurry the state vetting processes, we are looking to hire 20 child actors for 3 days. This is crazy. Whilst the state is present on site. Hey, everybody stir it out. I don't know if this is real, okay? But they're going to pay you $1,500 per day. Usually you're the one that has to pay for the daycare. Oh, and trust me, if you're in Minnesota, you're paying daycare. You're paying a lot of daycares and doing nothing for kids. Oh, you got 100 kids here. Really? Where is everybody? Where's all the 100 kids running around? Oh, my goodness. Isn't that crazy? Oh, $1,500 a day. You guys, I'm part of the Screen Actors Guild. $1,500 a day is crazy. You know, I mean, you're basically an extra, right? It's not like they're going to have any scripted lines. Maybe they will. Hell, I don't know how involved these people are going to be now in trying to fool us and fraud the system even more, gain the system more than what they've had. I don't know. Bit bonkers, though. It's nuts. Where was I? That's right. So, again, you have multiple clinics under the same address. You have the lady from Feed Our Future that was found guilty, I believe. So I'm going to say allegedly did all these things to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. That's on the contact list for all these daycares as well. That's a little odd. I mean, wouldn't that raise a little bit of eyebrows here? Basic oversight would catch this immediately. Cameras, audits are the big one that we all keep asking for. Cross-check billing with physical attendance. Gee, that's a tough one. AI verification, on-site inspections. I mean, it's the obvious that honestly, a lot of businesses have to go through this anyways. I don't know why we have to act stupid here. Like this is like some sort of crazy scheme, like how the Somalis do it, you know, how'd they figure it out, how'd they beat us at our own game. Yeah. Any private insurance company would shut this down in days. In days. So the question becomes unavoidable. Why hasn't the government done it? Well, you got selective enforcement. I mean, that's the real scandal. That's what's going on. They knew this stuff was happening, you guys. Tim Walz knew. People knew. They had whistleblowers. They decided not to do anything about it. Why? Because as we covered here a week or two ago, the Somalis are what got Tim Walz into office. I mean, that's what's getting Democrats in there. If you look at the voting, without the Somali community, they're nothing. Nothing at all. That's why Tim Walz wants to bend over backwards for these people. And it's a little odd, right? How he said, oh, there's nothing to see here, folks. Look the other way. Nothing to see. No problem. Gee, Tim, why are you not running for re-election again there, buddy? A little odd, right? Everything's fine. Yeah. Nothing to see. It's all smoke, no fire. Really, Timmy? Because now all of a sudden you say you're not running anymore. That's a little odd. Okay, sure. Yes. We've all watched federal agencies mobilize massive resources for these political investigations, right? They got to shut everything down for Donald Trump. Like we saw with the Democrats on his first term. You have these protest prosecutions, administrative violations, the process crimes. But when it comes to this industrial tax-funded fraud, well, suddenly enforcement becomes slow. Yeah, cautious, hands off. We don't want to look at this. This looks gross. It's icky. It's like when you go to a buffet and you see everything you like versus everything you don't like. It just so happens that everything that's bad, the food is doo-doo, it's been under the heat lamp for too long, is what Democrats made. And then whatever is good and yummy, and they want to go after that. Well, that's called Republican. Yeah, if you did anything remotely fraudulent, they're going to go after you. I mean, hell, you make a typo on a tax form, Or on a financial statement, well, you get 40 priors, man. Like Donald Trump. Yeah, you're a fraud. And like they come after us for that. Oh, well, you voted for a fraud, a felon. Oh, okay. Sure we did. Yeah, because the guy fumbled on some paperwork. He spelled his name wrong. Yeah, we'll give him one. There's one felony, guys. He spelled his name wrong. He put Don instead of Donald. Oh, God. He's just like everybody else that's in prison and a felon, isn't he? Bunch of idiots. I love it. Well, they are idiots. I'm sorry. Not everybody, of course. Not everybody, but a lot of them are. I mean, come on. Come on. If you're really honest with yourself, you would agree. Where was I? Oh, that's right. None of this is hard. It's not like it was unclear. It's not like, this came out of nowhere. But because enforcing the law here creates political discomfort for the Democrats. That's really what it is. And Washington has decided discomfort is worse than theft. Yeah, I know. I'm going to say that again. Washington has decided that discomfort is worse than theft. I mean, Venezuela proved capacity is not the problem. I mean, the Venezuela operation shouted a long-standing excuse that the U.S. government is too constrained. It's too limited. It's too bound by the norms of active, decisive. It can't act decisively, you guys. It's too much going on. Yeah, they can't do it. That's too much. They're focused on other things. That's completely false. When leadership decides that action matters, obstacles all of a sudden vanish. They'll find a legal authority when they want to. Oh boy, will they. Assets are deployed, right? 150 craft fly over the air. Objectives are achieved. You siphon out a freaking, air quote, president of another country. Which means that failure to stop domestic fraud is not a capacity issue. It's a will issue. They just didn't want to do it. Everything that you saw from Joe Biden's term, and you see from Democrats, we like to come up with these like elaborate reasons as to why these knuckleheads, these idiots over there in Congress, or just the enforcement apparatus of the Democrat Party didn't do something. I've always said this, and I said this about illegal immigration. I said it regarding Joey for 4 years straight. I said this. The answer is they just didn't want to do it. There's obviously a lot of outgrowths from that. Oh, well, they get voters. They get people tapping the system. They feel like they owe the Democrat Party something. They brought their family here, so now they're Democrats for life because they feel like they have to vote for them because they got them here illegally. La, 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 la. Yeah, that's all there. But at the end of the day, they didn't want to enforce the things because they didn't want to. That's literally it. Was it like Occam's razor or something like that? I mean, this is about policy, not ethnicity. They'll make it about ethnicity. Oh, these white supremacists, these racists. They call me a white supremacist because I look white. My question has always been, and I still have yet to have a Democrat or leftist answer this for me in TikTok or any of these social media platforms I talk to them. I can go out and become extremely dark if I was to go out in the sun. I mean, I used to have sandy blonde hair and just extremely dark. So I used to be a beach bum. I used to go out to the beach all the time. So when do I cross over? My question was, when do I cross over from being like a pale white guy to now I'm like dark, not like Somali dark, but I'm really dark. I look Middle Eastern dark, put it that way. So when do I cross over? They don't have an answer. They don't have an answer. Because I'm like, if you look at me now, yeah, you see a white guy. But I'll tell you what, I get really dark. Now you're like, I don't know, Hispanic, Middle Eastern. You want to know how I know that? Because throughout my entire life, people used to try to figure it out. All the way through college. I remember a lady when I worked at Staples stopped me in the house. She's like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from here. She goes, no. Like, where'd you immigrate from? I didn't. She's like, what? I hand to God, I was selling what we call business machines. I was selling printers this day when it happened. And I was like, no, I'm from here. She's like, no, you look like you're from some part else around the world. And I'm like looking around like, why is this? What the hell's going on here? I said, no, ma'am, I'm American. She's like, oh, okay. She was a rocket, but meaning she was very pretty. Maybe she was hitting on me. I don't know. But anyways, that's my question. So it's not about race. It's not about immigrants broadly. It's not about lawful residents, if that's what you want to call them. This is about fraud networks exploiting weak enforcement. And regardless who runs them, regardless. I don't care who you are. You don't get to commit fraud. I don't get to commit fraud. Nobody in the chat or listening in their ears and their headphones or later on audio. No. You don't get to commit fraud. Any group doing this at scale should face asset seizures, program shutdowns. I'm talking criminal prosecutions. I want the whole shebang. Deportations when applicable under existing law. Equal enforcement is not extremism, folks, even though we're being told it is. Don't play into that one. It's the rule of law. I follow the law. I am a rule follower. I don't like breaking the rules. I don't know if it goes against my morality. Now, have I broken rules? Of course. Have I gone over the speed limit? Absolutely. But it's not like there's a talking voice in my head going, hey, man, maybe you should slow down, or hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. And when I'm talking speeding, I'm talking like I don't go over 70 usually. I drive in the slow lane, going like that, like grandma. The president for this whole thing, the presidents, or the president, not the president of the United States, but you understand what I mean, has been set for all this. Venezuela sent a message, not just for foreign governments, but to Americans watching at home. The message was simple. When the federal government wants to act, it can, and it will. So now the question is unavoidable. Will Washington, and this is what I want to know, I think all of you do in the chat as well, and listening at home, will Washington protect taxpayers with the same urgency it showcased overseas? Or will it continue pretending that fraud is too complicated? Well, the spider web, it's going to take us decades to figure it out, like Joe Biden's fraud, his family fraud that's going on. While they continue to write bigger checks, while they continue to tap more from our wallets more than ever. Americans didn't vote for endless explanations. We didn't vote for you to BS us. We wanted results. And that's why I voted for Donald Trump. I wanted to get stuff done here. Businessmen they get stuff done. You don't become a billionaire by sitting on your tushy doing nothing like Joe Biden. That's a Democrats. That's how Democrats get wealthy, from doing nothing. And how do they get wealthy? Well, they get wealthy from taking from you and having fraudulent schemes that siphon from your family, but give it to all these other people because you're a second-class citizen in your own country. But boy, oh boy, if you came here illegally, oh man, you're going to be living a good life, real good life. Venezuela showed what's possible. Now it's time to see whether our leaders in Congress, more importantly, the executive branch, since Donald Trump's the law enforcement arm of the government, if they're willing to apply that same pressure, the same seriousness here at home. Because the government can dismantle a regime in 90 freaking minutes, man. They can basically when you take the king, you've won. Donald Trump not just took the king, he took the queen. All right? In 90 minutes. I would say reasonably, because the whole thing was pretty much done in 2 hours, we legitimately conquered an entire country in an hour. In an hour. Hello? Like someone's lunch break. I'm not kidding when I say you could have went to the bathroom without your phone and took a doo-doo. Some of you are that long. You got to go get that figured out. You could have went and taken a doo-doo and come out of your bathroom and looked at your phone and we would have conquered a country. That's how insane things are nowadays. So yeah, we can figure it out here at home. We can start doing some stuff. But Pam, I'm going to say it, Pam Bondi needs to go, man. You guys, it's been almost a year. Yeah, we've done some stuff. Look, we've done some stuff. Not to the scale I'm expecting. And I think you're all with me on that one. I don't know what she's doing over there, but she ain't doing much, man. Like, you guys can name a couple things off the top of your head. Bro, it's been a year. And that's why Dan Bongino left, because she ain't willing to do anything. And I think there's some deep state apparatus. Like, that's my conspiracy antenna. I get it. That's my tinfoil hat. I think there's something going on with some deep state that really is controlling things. But she needs to get her you-know-what in gear real quick. Real quick. Well, there's more here on Venezuela. If you're liking what you're hearing and seeing, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We always appreciate you guys tuning in. Always appreciate your help and support in helping the show grow and become what it is. We're one of the top programs in the morning on Rumble. So greatly appreciate over at Rumble, everybody that tunes in. God bless you. Where were we here? Oh, okay. Well, sanctioned oil tankers flee Venezuela after Maduro's capture. Just the floodgates were open. They were released. They're hitting the full throttle to get out of there. Sanctioned oil tankers turn off their beacons. They're basically going dark after Maduro's arrest. In the immediate aftermath, I don't know if you guys heard about this. Nicolas Maduro's capture, something very telling off the coast of Venezuela happened. Oil tankers started just leaving in the masses. And I'm not being metaphorical here. Please understand that. I'm being literal. Hilarious. Within hours of Maduro being taken, more than a dozen, that's a lot, more than a dozen oil tankers fled Venezuelan ports, many of them switching into what's known as dark mode. That's the phrase that the article is using. Dark mode. Disabling their transponders, they're spoofing locations, and masking their identities in an attempt to evade the United States naval blockade. It kind of shows you how stupid these people are, where they legitimately think that them turning off a transponder is going to spoof us. Oh, they ain't going to be able to find us. Like, think about it for a second. We just conquered a country in the span of a lunch break, okay? We basically took over a country faster than Amazon could deliver you a package. And these guys legitimately think that we're not going to be able to track them because they turn off their tracking. Let them think it. No. Let's not say anything. They might be listening. Don't tell them. Okay. I want them to figure it out. No. I want it to be a surprise. Okay. Our men and women in uniform deserve a good surprise. And this is going to be one. You know what I mean? How'd they get us? Yeah. Can you imagine? You're just thinking you're having your hot tea, right? Your feet are up on the deck, thinking you got out of there. The Americans, what a bunch of idiots. That white supremacy, nation. They're just sipping your cup of coffee. And then you just see the buzzing fly over. Chinooks are flying over. Fuck, they got us. Yeah. Anyways, what dark mode actually means. Let's be clear about what's happening here. It was all fun and games. Let's get serious, folks. Excuse me, one moment. These aren't commercial ships that are following this normal maritime procedures that are happening. These are sanctioned shadow vessels, and we covered it before. They're still doing it. These sanctioned shadow vessels is what Donald Trump was apprehending before. And it was going to places like China, some claim Iran and Russia. Tankers that already operate in violation of international sanctions, primarily shipping Venezuelan crude oil under false flags, fake names, shell company ownership. When a ship goes dark, what it does is it disables its AIS tracking system, which basically spoofs its GPS location. And then it uses false flag verification, or just like a false vessel verification. Or some would say, instead of verification, like an identification, basically. It conducts ship-to-ship sea transfers. In other words, it's a maritime, equivalent of basically fleeing a scene, like a hit and run almost. According to reports from Reuters, you also have the New York Times adding in on this, and satellite tracking from, have you ever seen the tankertrackers.com? That's a place. At least 16 tankers left Venezuela ports immediately after Maduro's arrest, with several heading north of Margarita Island, a known transit corridor for illicit oil shipments. Oh. This didn't happen by accident because Maduro was captured. The whole illusion collapsed. For years, these tankers operated under the assumption that the regime would protect them, that sanctions could be evaded indefinitely and the U.S. wouldn't escalate because, well, why would they think that? We didn't do anything for years and years. That's why the Iranians were funding the Houthis and all these other terrorist organizations to the capacity that they were, because Joe Biden didn't want to do anything. And then finally, I was begging for years for Joe Biden to blow these boats out of the water because they were seeking our merchant vessels, and not just ours, but our allies. I mean, we were showing footage of massive explosions of these tankers being sunk to the bottom of the ocean by these terrorist organizations. And I was telling Joe Biden for years, blow them out of the water. And better yet, don't just blow them out of the water. You need to put it online and blast it everywhere so these people could see that, hey, if this is the life you want to live, sure, you're just going to be chum for the water. You're going to be chumming the ocean. Donald Trump's going to be feeding the fishes with your body. So that's why Donald Trump, when he came in, is exactly what I was looking for. Blowing them out of the water, sure. But don't worry, these are just fishermen, you guys. Sure they are, with 8 outboard motors. Yeah, You know how expensive that is, by the way? Not just a boat itself on how big these boats are, but 8 outboard motors. I told you I used to deep sea fish with my dad. Never seen it. We used to have the fishing channel. I used to watch not just freshwater fishing. I used to watch these guys going out getting marlins, right? They're going out getting these big old fish. They don't even have 8 outboard motors. The most I've seen is 4. I've never seen somebody with 5, ever. In 36 years on this rock, never seen it. Does it exist? Maybe. But I've seen it exist a lot of times. There ain't no reason why you need that kind of power behind you, unless you're doing something nefarious. So you got these tankers basically fleeing, getting out of here. And where were they going? Most of the super tankers aren't going to Europe or obviously the United States. They're going to China. No, it's not racist, okay? They're coming from China. For years, Venezuela crude has been shipped to China at steep discounts, often blended with Iranian or Russian oil to obscure its origin. And according to Reuters, several of the tankers that fled the port typically transport crude directly to Chinese refineries, a key revenue stream, keeping the Maduro effort afloat. That's why this blockade matters. And I want to take you to a clip here because I want to put a nice bow on this whole thing before we move to another different story here. And it's going to be a clip of me, but it explains why Venezuela suddenly matters. And a lot of people really liked it. So we're going to play it for you. It just helps me. Instead of having to repeat what I just said yesterday, I'll play the damn video myself.
Everyone keeps arguing about Venezuela like it's one thing. It's about oil. It's about drugs. It's about terror. It's about military. And the truth is, yeah, it's about all of it, but not in the way people think. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves on Earth, about 303 billion barrels with a B. That's roughly $17 trillion sitting in the ground, plus massive gold reserves. But here's the part nobody's saying out loud. The United States doesn't actually need the oil. Gas prices are down. We're drilling. We're refining. We're energy independent. China, though, is the one that needs it. China buys between 60 and 90% of Venezuela's crude, about 85 to 90% of Iran's oil, and nearly half of Russia's. Now, look at what just happened. Venezuelan oil exports are getting cut off. Iran is destabilized. Russia is already under pressure. If Venezuela and Iran fall at the same time, China loses roughly 70% of its non-US regulated oil supply. 70%. And when that happens, there's no Taiwan invasion. There's no AI dominance. There's no BRICS reserve currency. No long war. Because war, AI, and global power all run on energy. And that's why this matters. This isn't about Exxon getting rich. It's about cutting off the fuel source for America's biggest adversary. I mean, Marco Rubio said it plainly. We don't need Venezuelan oil, but we're not going to let our adversaries control oil industry in our hemisphere. You can argue about constitutionality all day, but you cannot argue this. If you believe in America first, this is exactly what America first looks like. And notice something else. Trump isn't just confronting enemies. He's pulling allies closer. Power doesn't just flow through weapons. It flows through energy and relationship. That's the long game. What do you think about that? Appreciate you.
I mean, that guy seems like he knows what he's talking about just a little bit. Just a little bit. But it's true. As you hear all these people, oil, this or that. Well, yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that for sure, that there's oil. Yeah. There's also gold too. Matter of fact, there's a ton of gold. Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we hyper focus on the fact there's all that gold there? They don't want to do that. Oh, no, it's the oil. Yeah, it is the oil. And it's a lot of other things as well. It's geopolitical. And this has massive ramifications, which is why one of the reasons Donald Trump goes in. So I'm not against people talking about the oil, because obviously it's about the oil. And it's so funny. People are, oh, it's a sovereign nation. It's a sovereign country. Really? They're ran by how much sovereignty do they have if they're ran by a dictator that stayed in office and nobody voted for the guy? And probably the people that did vote for him was probably not even legitimate. Not even, not very sovereign, in my opinion. Well, other countries, the UN says they're sovereign. Nobody listens to the UN anymore. It's always the UN. The UN doesn't even listen to the UN. The UN has dictators on the Human Rights Council. I mean, let that one sink in. I mean, remember, China has concentration camps right now. It's so funny because these leftists are out here protesting in the streets all the time by like climate change, or illegal immigrants are being thrown in camps, or illegal immigrants are just disappearing. We don't know what our government's doing with them. That's all stuff they're saying, by the way. That is not made up. That is all legitimate stuff they're saying. You want to know who really does that, though? You want to know who actually does that? Look at the other part of the globe. Why don't you go over there and protest? We know why they don't go over there. Because they will disappear, and they know it. They know it. Alrighty, well, in other news, illegal immigrants are caught with 300 pounds of white powder, the sugar, the morning blouse, the coffee for your creamer. Don't even know what the hell that means, but 300 pounds of cocaine. That's what they found. We just got flagged. I said the word. That's why I was using white powder. Some of you knew what I was talking about because you had some priors. Yeah, some of you were doing the white kush. Some of you were having fun in the 70s. Was it 70s or 80s that stuff was big? Some of you know. Well, over the weekend, law enforcement stopped what could easily turn into millions of lethal doses of narcotics hitting American streets. 2 illegal immigrants were arrested in Indiana. Indiana, yes. Remember how I told you guys for years that this immigration was going to be a massive issue, that it's going to lead to the interior of the country? And I hate to say it, I love you, Patriots. I love you, but this is where I'm going to push back. And I was right. You guys were pushing back on me saying, no, Brad, it's not going to happen. I live in this state. You're just focusing on it because you live in California and you're a border state, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, sir. These people are flying into the interior of the country. You're going to have massive problems on your hand. And here we are. They had over 300 pounds of the white powder in a semi-truck. It's worth an estimated $7 million. And here's the part the media can't dodge. They were driving a California-issued commercial driver's license. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Driving a California-issued commercial driver's license. 2 illegals getting their driver's license, just driving around hundreds of pounds of the white sugar. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's my state. I don't vote for this stuff. I got a show and I expose all of it, or at least I try to. Well, what happened here? Let me give you the details. There's a traffic stop. That's it. Indiana state troopers pulled over a semi-truck in Putnam County after noticing it drifting across lanes. They can't even drive. Well, how'd they get a driver's license, Brad? Well, are you really going to ask me that question on how illegal immigrants got driver's license in the state of California by Gavin Newsom? Really? They hand these things out like they're hotcakes. You don't have to pass a test. Are you kidding me? The guy that the 2 illegals or 3 illegals that deleted a whole family not too long ago, like a month or 2 ago, they took multiple tests in different states and couldn't get driver's licenses. What do you mean? That's why they came to California, because it's the only state that would hand it out to me. If they pass or fail, it don't matter. Please. Oh, yeah, you wrote your name correctly. Cool, bud. That's how our education system is. You don't have to learn a damn thing. You don't have to learn. Don't get me going on the education system. You don't have to learn anything nowadays, and you will still pass the system. Quite literally. I mean that in literal sense. You literally don't have to do anything. You get 50%. They'll give you a D just to get rid of you. In the sleeper, I think are on those takers, are they called berths? The sleeper berths? I think that's what they're called in the truck. Officers found 140 kilogram sized packages of the powder. Roughly 3 to 9 pounds in total. A canine unit confirmed the drugs, as did all the officers take a little hit for themselves. I added that one in there. That's not part of the article, okay? I just want to be clear. The officers did not take a little hit themselves. Ambiguity. You know how they always dip like their knife in there, right? And then they taste a little bit just to get a little lick for themselves. The 2 men arrested. Everybody pause. It's 6:50 in the morning. I'm going to try to read these guys' names, okay? It's not easy. It looked like they were brothers because they had both the last name, but you know where these people are coming from, the same country, you never know. There's a lot of incest that happens in a lot of these, these other countries. And I'm not being a smart aleck there. Really, there's a lot of incest that happens in these other countries. Which is one of the reasons why their IQs are dropping, but that's a whole nother conversation. Gurpreet Sinha, 25. Jasveer Sinha, something like that, 30. Okay. Both illegal immigrants. Anybody want to guess where they're from with that last name? From India. Yep. Both operating a commercial vehicle in the United States. Isn't that just lovely? Oh, that's great. How were they even on the road? Well, during the stop, the suspects presented their California issued commercial driver's license. By the way, it's not a footnote. That's literally the story. According to the Department of Homeland Security, these licenses were issued under California's permissive licensing policies, which allow non-citizens, including illegal immigrants, to obtain CDLs. DHS did not mince words. They directly blamed Gavin Newsom. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said this, quote, "Thanks to Gavin Newsom, reckless policies, these 2 criminal illegal aliens were granted commercial licenses by the state of California and were arrested for trafficking a whopping 300 pounds of white powder." Obviously, I use the C word there, but I can't. I did once and I might get flagged. That's the federal government saying the quiet part out loud. And it didn't happen in a vacuum. This Gurpreet guy crossed the southern border illegally in March of 2023 near Lukeville, Arizona. He was released into custody under the Biden-era border policies. Then you have Jasveer crossing illegally in 2017 near Otay Mesa, California. I live here. I don't even heard of that place. And here's the kicker. The dude was arrested last month in San Bernardino County for allegedly... Unbelievable, dude. He was arrested last month in San Bernardino, California for allegedly receiving stolen property. ICE logged a detainer. And you might be like, well, how did he get loose then, dude? What the hell did Trump do? ICE had him in the bag. They had him. No. Shut up. No. Do you think there's more to this? How did this guy get let loose if he was arrested just last month in San Bernardino, California? How did this guy get back on the streets? How did he get there and do something like this and transporting across state lines the coke? Anybody know? It happened in California, and California refused to honor the detainer by ICE. So what happened with that? He was released. And weeks later, the guy was caught hauling cocaine across state lines. Nothing to see here, guys. He's a good guy. No. He's like the Maryland man who is trafficking people allegedly across state lines, both adults and minors. Good guy. Yeah. Now he goes out there and sings Christian music. He's a Catholic. He's a good guy. Now he attends mass all the time. Yeah, he's a pallbearer. Yeah, he'll take your money. He'll put a little bit in the basket and a little bit in his pocket. Yeah, if you need any work done around the neighborhood, just give them a call. They'll be there. Obviously, I'm being a smart aleck. I mean, this is what happens when you have sanctuary policies in real life. Federal authorities identify a criminal alien. They ask local jurisdiction to hold the guy. Well, sanctuary officials refuse to do that, and the individual goes free. That's how this all works, by the way. And the next time you arrest them, and it's not theoretical, they'll just be hauling 300 pounds of coke. Democrats, not a big deal. You got to give everybody second chances, 70 chances. Oh, well, you're supposed to be dumbfounded, you guys. Yeah, you're supposed to be shocked. Even when the guy has 70 priors and then he goes and knifes a chick in the subway system, deletes her, or lights somebody on fire, you're supposed to be so dumbfounded that you can't even believe something like that would happen. Yes. The guy's tried to delete 30 people before. You're supposed to be bewildered when the guy actually pulls it off the 40th time. Yeah, I mean, how many times did it take? Yep, you're supposed to be the idiot, not the idiots that let the idiot loose. You're the idiot. That's how it's supposed to work. Yeah, we're supposed to look the other way. Nothing to see here, folks. Just like they did with the Minnesota fraud, just like they did with the illegal immigration, just like they did with all this other stuff that's going on in government when Joe Biden was in office. You're just supposed to look the other way, pretend like none of it's happening. And then you're the one that has to basically look over your shoulder all the time. It's so funny how we're told illegal immigrants and all these people committing all this fraud and stuff have to look over their shoulders now. White supremacy. They just can't live their life. They're in fear of deportation. Why is it me in my own country? I got to look over my shoulder each and every day because I'm worried about some dude coming and knifing me in the back or something like that. I can't even take the metro anymore up to LA because you're worried about some dude sitting behind you and just kind of throwing the shank in you. Yeah, I'm in my own country. The trucking details are worse than you think, by the way. According to reports, the truck didn't even have a required electronic logging device. It's a safety system meant to prevent basically fatigue with driving, which is probably why this idiot was swerving all over the road, putting you and your family in danger if you're in Indiana. Jasveer admitted he wasn't even operating under a legitimate carrier for this run. Jesus. The story they gave police, well, they were instructed to drive an empty truck to Indiana restaurant in Indiana and wait for a load. That's not how legitimate freight operations work. For anybody that's curious, that's how drug trafficking works. Why the Trump administration is focused on CDLs. Well, as you'd imagine, this has not been a new news story in the sense of CDLs because this is a much larger investigation that's going on with all of this. The Trump administration has been scrutinizing states, especially California, for issuing commercial driver's license to illegal immigrants, following multiple fatal crashes and criminal cases involving foreign drivers. California recently announced it would delay canceling thousands of CDLs issued to foreign drivers. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Trump administration responded by threatening to withhold $160 million in federal funding if California didn't comply by January 5th. I'm so tired of these deadlines. Well, if you don't do this, we're going to do this, and you have months to figure it out. No, just cut it off immediately. You know what I mean? Because when you do stuff like this, you give somebody an inch, they're going to take a mile. This is immediate funding cut. I don't know why we have to act stupid all the time. Even Trump, just cut it off. I live here. I'm cool with it. Not that I get to decide everything. I don't think don't get me going. Don't get me going. We don't have enough time for a rant right now. Newsom predictably blamed the federal government for this, which is projecting. As I mentioned, I know you guys know this. I'm going to say it again for the new viewers. If you ever hear a Democrat complaining about something, almost always, and it's the craziest thing ever, almost always, they're talking about themselves. Racism. Well, they're the party of racism, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. Oh, they're holding black people down. Well, it's historically the Democrat Party. Oh, Republicans are committing all this fraud. Well, you're committing all the fraud. Oh, it's Donald Trump's fault that these guys are out there on the roads. Well, it's actually Gavin Newsom's fault for giving the CDLs. I mean, it's. I'm not saying every time, but damn, man, it is a good bet that you are going to be correct about, oh, that's them doing it. Unbelievable. The bigger picture here is the story isn't about nationality. Obviously, it's not about race. It's not even actually about illegal immigration. It's about policy choices. Policies that release illegal immigrants into the country, issue them commercial licenses, refuse to honor ICE detainers, and then act shocked when some serious crime occurs. You don't need rhetoric to explain this, man. You just need facts. And a little basic common sense, too. Maybe an IQ over 70 would be nice. 300 pounds of the white powder, a semi-truck, a California CDL, and sanctuary protections that failed exactly as warned. And the consequences of this is every time politicians wave off border enforcement as fear-mongering, it's racism, it's discrimination. This is what they're ignoring. Not hypotheticals, not these edge cases, nothing like that, but trucks full of cocaine. moving freely across America. Law enforcement did their job in Indiana, and thank you, boys, for cleaning up our streets. Thank you so much for keeping our community safe. Protect and serve. The question is why California didn't do its job before it got that far. And it's not just once. It's not just twice we've done these types of news stories. It's multiple times because Gavin can't pull his head out of his you-know-what. And I'm going to say it again. Come here. Powwow time. Everybody get in. Come on. Take your coffee break at work. Water cooler talk. Come on, folks. Get in here. Come on. No. Everybody needs to hear this. Because I want everybody to say Brad was right. The guy I listen to every morning, the weirdo. The guy that's a little off, but I like him. The guy that gives me the news. Talks too much. Isn't that funny? Some people say I talk too much when I literally do a news podcast. Gavin Newsom is going to run in 2028 and most likely win. Everything that you voted for that Donald Trump is working so hard to fix right now for the next 4 years, or I guess in this case 3 years, is going to try to be uprooted to the best of his ability by Gavin Newsom. And we're going back. You think Biden was bad, dude? Biden was bad because he's an idiot. Like he's actually he's just dumb. And it's not even his fault. He has brain issues. Gavin Newsom is just an evil scumbag, dude. And he's strategic enough to do this on purpose. Joe Biden, some would say on purpose. Some of us say staffers, the auto pen, whatever. There's a lot of variables going on what the hell Joey was doing. Gavin is strategic, and he's going to be doing it on purpose. And his initiative is to crumble it. He's going to run, man. And I live in this state. I've had to deal with this guy. It's like teachers, year after year, you kind of say, oh, hey, have you had this kid before? Like, what's this kid like? Oh, God, he's a bad kid. Oh, like the teacher's giving you warning signs. Or you got this buddy, right? This guy's like, oh, I've worked with this guy before. Bro, he's so bad. You got to be on the lookout. This just going to ruin your life. Blah, blah. That's how I'm with you guys and Gavin Newsom. Now, some people in here, like Karen, lives in California with me. I think Betts does too. I don't know, Betts, where are you at? Bet you in Arkansas? Anyways, some of our moderators are in California too. We are all sounding the alarm for you guys. And I don't have words to describe, and I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm being as serious as a heart attack. This guy is going to ruin your country, man. He's ruined my state. I've lived here my entire life. I've done some sporadic stuff everywhere else, but here I've lived here, man. I've seen my great state get destroyed. That's why I still live here, because I think and I pray there's still hope that this ship could be turned around. I understand all the other conservatives got out. People are fleeing. I get it. But you know what? That's just who I am. I'm a stubborn man. I'm in the trenches taking grenades here. And we got to turn the state around. It can be turned around. And hey, I'm old school. I go down with the ship. If California falls, Brad's going down with it. And then you cue up the Celine Dion music. I'm Jack, and you guys are on the door. You guys are all the lady on the door, Rose. You just gotta let me go. Do you know what I mean? You just gotta let me go. It's the sad thing. Some of you are like, bro, I'll let you go so quick. California ain't pulling me down. Bro, I would have let you go while you're alive. You wouldn't wait till I'm dead, you sickos. Oh, boy. I knew there's something wrong with you guys. You're a little off in the head. Not just me. Don't you point the finger at me. This guy's a little weird. He's a little different. You guys are too. Alrighty, well, I hate to break it to you, folks. We're putting a pause on Dark MAGA for a while. One, I am sick. And two, it's just become a lot to be able to do everything myself. So there is no evening podcast. I'm actually not even part of the Rumble creator program anymore. I'm putting a pause on all of it for this new year. It's not about the money. It's about my well-being. But we're not going to do Dark MAGA. If you're curious, just really quickly, the whole reason for Dark MAGA was to try and grow the show. Grow the show and more people want to be involved in a live chat because they're not able to wake up this early in the morning because they're lazy. I'm kidding. That was a joke. But it is a morning show. Not everybody's awake and they want to be a part of the live chat and hang out with all you guys. I get that. It didn't really have the effect and the outgrowth of what I wanted it to be. And I don't want to say it was a waste of time because I really loved doing it. And I really loved hanging out with you guys. But my time could be spent on, upgrading my website, making TikToks. Like I can have a better voice doing these other things than that hour and a half of just doing the show, regardless of the prep. So, and then rushing home from work to try to get there. It's just, I know you guys understand. I appreciate that. I see what you're writing in the chat, but I didn't want you guys to be shocked. That was my thinking. That was the whole purpose of it originally, was something fun, different, but it just didn't have I'm not getting out of it the time that I'm putting in. Do you know what I mean? Like we get a lot of views. That's great. But it just didn't reach a broader audience than what I expected. So we're going to put that on pause for a little bit. And, but which means we have to do something because we're losing out on actually a lot of money here by not being part of the Rumble Creator Program. So anyways, appreciate everybody that donates. That does not mean you need to make a donation. That's just there for you if you'd like. You can head over to baldbrad.com. But thank you to everybody that always tunes in. God bless you. We had a great audience, man. We had a whole year coming up. Get better. Your health is way more important. Thanks. I appreciate that, Karen. I'm struggling right now, as you can tell in my voice. Stubborn man, better keep your head. Don't forget what your good book said. Stubborn change gonna come at last. I hope it changes here, man. A good California is a really great state. It's just gotta enforce the rules. If you enforce the rules, everything go back to the way it used to be. It's just sad that I've had to watch this place crumble. Newsom can't affect you, then can he? No, he can't. Can't touch me, Newsom. Just kidding. I don't want to say that because he actually can. The guy's crazy. All righty. Well, have a blessed day. We'll be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll go into Colombia. Maybe we'll, I don't know what the hell's going to happen next. Maybe Cuba. You got to stay on your toes. Hey, thanks, Goer. I appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat. It was a great show. Thank you so much. God bless you. Appreciate you. With that being said, have a blessed day. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for you and your family. Pray for peace on earth. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow morning here on the Bald Brad Show. Take care.